By the time Milarepa was an old man, his fame had spread across the high valleys of Tibet. The wandering yogi in his single cotton cloth, once mocked as a half-starved madman of the caves, was now revered as a living saint. Pilgrims climbed to him for a single song. Disciples carried his words from village to village. But greatness in one heart can stir envy in another. And so it was that the final chapter of his life began not with celebration, but with a quiet act of malice. There was a learned scholar, a Jesh, a man of books and titles, who lived near the places where Milarepa taught. He could not bear that an unlettered hermit should be honored above him. Again and again he came to argue, hoping to trap the yogi in some error of doctrine. But Milarepa answered not from learning but from experience, and his songs left the scholar humiliated before the very people he wished to impress. Jealousy hardened into hatred. The Jesh resolved to be rid of him, and he prepared a bowl of curds laced with deadly poison. He sent it by the hand of a woman, promising her a reward she would never truly receive. Here the story turns toward its deepest mystery. Milarepa, the tradition tells us, knew. With the clear sight of his realization, he saw the poison in the bowl, and he saw the fear and greed in the heart that had sent it. He could have refused. He could have exposed the plot. Instead, out of compassion, he drank. He had no more need of this body, and he understood that his death could become the poisoner's only chance at salvation. So he took the cup, and he forgave before the bitterness ever touched his tongue. In his final days, weakening, Milarepa gathered his disciples and gave his last teachings. He sang to them of impermanence, telling them plainly that even his own body, the vessel of so much realization, was passing away as all things pass. He urged them not to grieve but to practice, to put the Dharma to work in the marrow of their lives and not merely on their lips. And he sent word to the scholar who had poisoned him, not in anger but in mercy, telling him that he held nothing against him, that the deed need not bind him to suffering if he would only repent and turn toward the path. The poisoner, struck to the heart, was overcome with remorse, and the man who had meant to destroy a saint was set, by that saint, on the road to his own liberation. Then Milarepa died, around the year 1135, in the high country he had made his home. The tradition surrounds his passing with wonders, rainbows arching over the mountains, a sweet fragrance in the cold air, music heard with no instrument to make it, and a radiance that lingered where his body lay. Whether we receive these as literal marvels or as the language a grateful people reached for to describe a great soul's departure, they say the same thing. A life of unimaginable hardship had ended in unimaginable peace, and those who witnessed it felt that something luminous had touched the earth and was now returning to its source. His legacy did not end with his breath. Through his disciples, above all through Gampopa, the physician monk in whom he had recognized the holder who would carry the teaching far, the Kagyu lineage flowed onward like a river finding new country. From Gampopa it passed to the line of the Karmapas and into the many branches of the Kagyu school, and it lives still, nearly 900 years later, in monasteries and retreat huts and the hearts of practitioners across the world. The life of Milarepa and the 100,000 songs became the most beloved spiritual classics of Tibet, read and recited and wept over by people who never met him and never could, yet who knew him as a friend. When we step back and look at the whole arc of this life, one truth shines above all the others, and it is the reason his story has been told for centuries. Here was a man who began in evil, who through black magic killed 35 people in a single act of revenge, who carried a weight of guilt that might have crushed any soul into despair. And yet, in that very same lifetime, by remorse, by purification, by total devotion to his teacher, and by years of fierce solitary effort, he reached complete enlightenment. His life is a thunderclap of hope. It tells us that no one is ever beyond redemption, that the past does not have the final word, that the door to liberation stands open even for those who believe they have slammed it shut forever. And so we come to the end of our long journey together through the life of Jetsun Milarepa. Thank you for walking these 20 chapters, from a child in a happy home to a grieving servant, from a sorcerer to a penitent, from a broken disciple to a master who sang the joy of empty caves. May the cotton-clad yogi who climbed from the depths to the summit remind you, whenever you need it, that your own summit is nearer than you think. Carry his song with you gently, and may you walk in peace.